Hello everyone, Nordic Beast here, and welcome back to the Shipyard. So, I figured I'd take out some ships, show you guys what I've been working on. I've been busy with quite a few recordings lately. I have so much to edit, so I still have 3 episodes of Fractured Space for Team Tryhard that are to go up, and I also have over 2 hours of footage of the forest that I have to go through. We had a blast. It was a little bit of a rough start, but it was so much fun. So I haven't had much personal time lately. I've been working so much and trying to get through just a bunch of personal issues. I figured I'd put out a Shipyard episode for you. So I'm going to start with the small stuff. Now, in the last Shipyard episode, that was a lot of fun, I was happy I got Wiseman and Dracul together to be able to do that episode because we had worked on all that stuff. I was happy that we could finally get together and actually show it off. Some of the things that we had mentioned was like the Wiseman drone. The drone I named the Wiseman. These were 2 other drones I had made while just building with Dracul randomly. He would come up with a drone concept and be building something, and then I'd take a shot at it, which is pretty much how we build 9 times out of 10 anyway. So this one here I call the Doom Ball. Dracul had built something that looked ball-like, and it reminded me of the little drones from the movie Oblivion, Tom Cruise movie. So I figured I'd make something very similar to the drones from that movie. So it's basically, it's very slow, not very maneuverable. Actually, I can show you guys real quick here. Control me. But if you look, it's not particularly fast, and it has no rockets, but the 4 guns together are quite devastating. So this would be a great defense drone. You know, very expendable, and I want to say it runs on 1 battery, which is more than enough, and then it has this guy here. Yeah. The little jump reactor back there. So now, originally Dracul had been working on like a drone fighter, and so I ended up making this, and it's slightly expendable. It's more expendable than a manned fighter, and it's also much lighter and very, very fast. I just named it Drone Interceptor. But yeah, this thing has got good performance. Quite pleased with how it turned out. Now this one has 4 Gatling cannons and the 2 rocket pods. Yep. So it's very tiny, and this one I actually very roughly based it off of the fighters from the game Fractured Space. Again, very roughly. There's like it's from the Titan faction. Like there's like the little winglets on the side go way out to the side and forward. So, but yeah, I was pleased with how this one turned out. I think this one runs on a single battery too, and it has cameras in all directions and so on and so forth. Yeah. Now, all right. I guess next up I'll do this one. I was thinking about naming this the Tiger Shark. It's not quite finished yet. I had built another design similar and then didn't quite like it, so then I built this one, and I like how it turned out. It's very reminiscent of like classic starfighters. Like it makes me think of something like the X-Wing or the Viper or something along those lines. And I like it. It's not a very practical design in the sense of, you know, space engineers. I mean, I could make something cheaper and smaller, but I like the look. I like the retro look about it. Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking about finishing it. I mean, maybe if you guys want to comment down below, what would you do with something like this? I've only got the 2 Gatlings on there. Should I add more weapons? Should I take off weapons? I mean, it runs on a single reactor, so it's actually quite long ranged. Could use it as a scout. It just has the single oxygen tank there, but that's still not bad. I could make an elongated version, or like I said, make it into a fighter. I don't know. So yeah, leave your comments down below. What would you like me to do with this thing? What would you name it? What kind of role would you give something like this? So, next up, this is based on I want to say it's the Outrider is the name of the ship. It's a Star Wars freighter from the extended universe, from like the what are those called? The graphic novels. And I really liked it, and I thought it would make an interesting fighter design, or raider. And this is basically a raider. It has the 2 regular rocket pods over here, And actually, I did design one that used the guided missile mod. I just put a guided missile over here. It has the 2 turrets, 2 fixed Gatlings, and then a reloadable rocket launcher. The reloadable rocket launchers aren't quite as accurate as the single shot, so the single shot's meant more for sniping shots. So I never quite finished this one either. Not quite sure if I wanted to, or if I should just use this as like a reference to build something else similar. I liked building something asymmetrical. I had a tough time building this, and that in itself made it fun. I built the rough framework and then built the cockpit and then conveyed everything up and then finished off the design. Overall, I'm pleased with how it turned out. I don't think I'm going to use it for anything more. It was more just an academic pursuit. And I don't know. What do you guys think? Same thing as with this. Should I maybe try to refine this, or should I use it for reference for a future fighter? So I like the asymmetrical design. I think that's interesting. So, all right. Now I've shown this off before. This is my Kraken. Now Barbarian Marzajon, he had helped me with this once before. He likes to take a lot of my designs and he'll rework it. And I love going over when he's reworked something, and then a lot of the time I use that in a future design, which I did with my Dragon Slayer design and all that, my atmospheric attack vehicles and transport and such. Now with this, originally this had hydrogen thrusters, and instead I went with large atmospheric thrusters. Now, as you guys know, I hate the look of the atmospheric thrusters, but this way I think it actually kind of looks nice. At least this one. Like this one over here, I don't know, maybe I'll toy with this. Actually, this is a good example of, like, a lot of the time I will think to mess with something. And, just to add, like, a bit of detail here and there, like, take that out, bam, put that in there. Just to add a little extra, like, indentation to kind of go with the curves of the large thruster there. So I also put one in the rear. Originally it had 5 of the ion thrusters, but to kind of help speed it up a bit, I figured I'll add 1 large atmospheric thruster, and it handles pretty well. You still have to, if you want better reaction rate, it's best to use like helicopter tactics, like tilt the nose up to slow down so that your large atmospheric thrusters will point forward a bit, but very little issue with it flying. It can make it from orbit to the ground and take off again, and it has over an hour of flight with batteries of continuous flight. So this thing is actually really, really, really good for landing people and bringing them back and so on and so forth. I am very pleased. It's big. It's almost 70,000 kilograms. Oh, and originally I had seats back here, just passenger seats. I replaced them with cockpits that are conveyed for oxygen. So you can use it anywhere, and you don't have to worry about your people suffocating in space. And it gives you the illusion that they're more protected, such as from re-entry, even though re-entry really isn't an issue in the game, at least at the moment. I don't know if they're going to do anything in the future. So, alright, now these two are some ships I've been wanting to show off a while, and I started with this one, and then I built this one based on this one, and I may have to refine this one over here some more, but I'll figure I'll show you where, where I've gone so far. So originally I designed just a frame of this, and it's been sitting in my blueprints for months, and finally I decided to bring it out and finish it. So this is roughly, and I mean very, very loosely, based on the Reaper from Fractured Space. And as you see, it's quite heavily armed. Most of it's all forward-firing firepower. A lot of the stuff couldn't aim back or do all that much aiming back. I really like how the back end of the ship turned out, and I do enjoy how the nose turned out, but there was a lot about it I didn't like, so that's why I ended up designing a new ship from scratch, actually. I didn't much care for how, like, the winglets turned out. They feel very short. I kind of feel like I should have lengthened them out a bit, and it's also kind of flat, which is why I ended up adding, like, this comm tower down here that I add on a lot of my ships, which is useful, but I don't know. It felt slapped on. Now I did like how I curved this top part, which I used over there, but to a better extent, I feel. Now this ship is all light armor. This is all light armor. It's meant to be a battle cruiser. Actually, I'd say more a cruiser instead of a battle cruiser. That one over there is a battle cruiser because it has heavy armor as well. But this thing is actually quite fast and nimble. It's designed for 6 people, as is the other one. And it could fly and fight for quite a bit. Now, one of the things I didn't like also is I kind of wedged in the vertical thrusters, as you see back here. It just is the one large going up, the one large going down. So I added a couple small thrusters just to help add a bit of reliability, and I didn't quite like how that turned out either. So I do like how this kind of continues back here, and then it thins out here. Like, I don't know. A lot of the architecture in this design I really enjoyed, and that's why I redesigned it. Now, this one's called the Norman, which the term Norman is actually, it means Norseman. Like if you, Normandy, the area in France, Normandy, or land of the land of the Norse, essentially is what Normandy means. So this is a completely rebuilt, like it's not, this was just used as a reference. I didn't even use any of my original material here. I just kind of looked at it and started rebuilding. Now the nose, very similar, but it's actually a bit flatter. It's actually 1 block shorter. Redesign on like the front section here. And you can still see, actually I feel in this one you can see more, whoops, hey little fighter. You can see more of the Titan Industries design from Fractured Space, like the Reaper, in this design than in that one. And same setup with the guns in the front, and even with the nose-mounted one, which I really like that. And I love how I put the antenna in here. This allows it to still kind of be exposed, which I feel like I'm cheating if I put it completely inside. I don't know why. But it's kind of exposed, but still armored and protected. And actually, it's the same thing over here. It's a very similar design. This one's much more open, obviously. I had originally thought about putting a bay in here, but nothing can really fit in there. Like, it'd be very limited. So, which it was actually this design that got Dracul thinking about drone fighters. That's building on drone fighters, because the actual Reaper carries a squadron of fighters. And he's like, well, maybe we could make drone fighters that could fit. Or maybe he could, anyway. But I really like this design feature where I got the conveyors in there. I don't know, I think that looks interesting. It's exposed, yes, but it's still pretty well covered and protected. So, now there's light armor all on the inside, and you can see like all these blocks here, all light armor. But that's why it has these armored slabs coming up. Now this helps it take up space and to be lighter. It's a bit more exposed, but it is lighter. I'm going to shut off the light here so you can see like a lot of lights in there. Oh, I need to remove or add some more of the red lights in there. I'll have to do that later. Because I had to add conveying in at one point and I didn't realize I had removed a bunch of lights. So now the only thing I don't like about this design is the tail end. I don't know, it seems very lackluster. I'm not 100% on the design. I don't think it's ugly by any means, but I think it could be better. So, but I do like the engine layout. I think that turned out really interesting. So this is all heavy armor, by the way, because a lot of these angled blocks don't get the camo for some odd reason. I'm not sure why. So, I may end up enclosing this a bit more, just to protect the beacon. And there is a spot for a turret there. I just ended up not putting one there. I don't know. I'll decide if I want one or not. One there or not. So this is the Jorgen. How was it? Jormungandr. The World Serpent. I can never remember that damn word. So, which about a year ago, I designed a ship in one of my old Shipyard episodes of the same name, but I no longer have the blueprint, and it used a ton of mods that aren't supported anymore, so I could probably not be able to recover it, because all my blueprints are on my old computer, which is next to me. It's actually my wife's computer. It's not even my old computer, it's hers. And I could probably get the blueprint, but I would have to rebuild it with supported versions of the unsupported mods. So now this one I will show the interior. This is the entrance, obviously, coming through the top. So up here, this is supposed to be like a commons area. I figured, you know, seats and essentially TV screens, even though they're not TVs. And this is the cockpit. As you see, we're all encased in heavy armor, but a rare usage of interior blocks. And then the cockpit. So now if you look back here, I think this is kind of ugly, but it's practical. And with the red lights, can't really see anything back there anyway. I have the text screens here and the oxygen there, and the oxygen does come around. So as you see, the oxygen down here at the bottom. And these are all the different seats for like firing the different turrets and whatnot, if you want to fire them manually. Alright, so we'll go back here. Now this is like another, I guess you could say, commons area. Just, you know, like a general meeting area. Now this is the crew area. All just, you know, the fake beds and what have you. Yep. This is the cryo bay. Whoop. The med bay. And then there's oxygen back here. So this area is actually completely sectioned off, as is the bridge. Turn off my light. Now back here, as you can see, there's a grate there, which that helps pump in oxygen all through here. Now this is... I'm sorry, wrong button. This is the engineering area. You can walk back here. We have a control for engineering. You can see all the jump drives back here. Now because of this thing's heavy weight, it only goes up a little over 2,000 kilometers in a jump. And that's with 4 jump drives, but that's because of its weight, which I believe is, I want to say 5 million. Let me go up here. Oh, just under 5 million kilograms. So this is actually just as heavy as my Hand of Tyr carrier, or almost anyway, but designed for combat. So like I said, the interior is mostly light armor blocks, or the interior blocks, with a heavy armor shell. I tried to be very liberal about the heavy armor, because again, I have a dislike of heavy armor, but I wanted this to be a very survivable craft, especially for its size and weight, but I'm quite pleased with how it turned out. So the only thing, like I said, I need to change is I need to add more lights in there. I need to add more detail in here, maybe a turret there, we'll see. And I would like to redesign the back end, but that might require a lot of time and effort. I would love to put that back end here, but I just don't think that would be doable. Like, I would have to really rework it. So we'll see. Maybe I will. But overall, I'm very happy with this design. I think this is actually practical. Not just interesting looking, but practical. But I will tell you, getting all these elaborate angles and designs and whatnot, oh, they take forever. I think it's worth it in the end, but oh, they take so long. So anyway, I guess that's it for this episode. If you guys enjoyed the episode, please hit that like button, and I'll see you guys next time.